9:10. Welcome back, Big 550 KTRS. We have 1 hour to go with our auction for the Window World table for the trivia night. We're looking for $700. We got a bid of $550, and we've stalled there at $550. We need a bid of $750. Once we reach $750, we'll give you the table. You can fill it with 8 of your best friends. And Window World will be able to give. We'll be able to help St. Jude. We'll give them $1,500. We have pledges of up to $750, but we need somebody to buy the table for $750. 314-969-KTRS, 1-888-550-KTRS, or star KTRS. We have also put this as a caveat. We will ask us to do anything. Come speak to your charity event. We'll mow your yard. Andrew will do your taxes. You don't want me or Larry Connors anywhere near your taxes. We'll get to that. So actually, you know what? We'll make Carney come to your house and cook something up real good as well. So we need $750 for the table. Now, also, we should say that starting tomorrow, we've thrilled to announce that our partnership, our joint venture with stltoday.com, where this show, the TV show that you can now see at ktrs.com, you can watch on your phone, you can watch on your tablet, will now be seen at stltoday.com. We're pretty excited about that. And also, we now have, we always worked well with the local hometown newspaper, but now we'll be able to call on their bevy, their army of reporters to help bring the story and use their pictures and videos to help tell the story on the TV side. That all starts tomorrow, but we've been lucky enough to invite our next guest in to talk about a story that is pretty gruesome. One in which I don't think is getting enough attention. Blythe Bernhard is with us. You are with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and you've been following this Bridgeton landfill story for a while, correct?
That's right.
You told us as we're getting ready for the show, the landfill has been on fire for 3 years.
Yes, it has. There's a smoldering heat about 150 feet underground at the landfill.
Where is this landfill exactly?
The landfill is at Rock Road and 270 in Bridgeton.
So it's pretty close to here. Pretty close to
here.
Where
Yeah.
Now, let's start at the beginning. This story really started to take off at some point last summer, right? There was people complaining about a smell.
Right. The smell gets worse when it's hot outside. There's no wind. It's stagnant. So the smell gets pretty bad, and people started smelling it. I've heard people saying it was really bad around Halloween when they're out trick-or-treating.
Right.
Kids are smelling it.
And so last summer, since it was so hot and it was a heat wave, the place baked, and all of a sudden now the smells from this landfill came up. When did we realize? So what happened then? They found out that it was the landfill, I guess, after people complained, right? Right.
People started figuring out what was in their backyard and that there was this landfill, and that it needed to be this fire needed to be extinguished.
It's one thing to say, boy, that landfill smells. It's another thing to say that landfill is toxic. So where are we in terms of the health hazard with this landfill?
Well, the major concern is that the landfill is adjacent to another landfill, the Westlake landfill, which has radioactive waste and byproducts from uranium processing from World War II and the Cold War era.
That's that whole Mallinckrodt stuff, right?
Right. So people are worried about, the heat reaching the Westlake landfill. We don't really know what's in the Bridgeton landfill, but it's pretty much, it's waste. It hasn't been used for about 10 years or so.
So it's full to capacity, and they're not adding any more garbage to it.
Right. It's
Gotcha.
full. It's full. Some of the air, they are doing air quality testing, and they have found high levels of hydrogen sulfide and benzene, and those are worrisome. But so far, the state health department has said the only health concerns are for, mild symptoms like throat irritation, can make your eyes red, can exacerbate coughing. So people with asthma or other respiratory issues are supposed to stay indoors and limit their time outdoors as much as possible. Beyond that, they haven't said that there are any long-term or more serious health concerns, but people are obviously concerned about the waste at Westlake.
Right. I was watching some newscast last night, and they showed a picture of the concrete pillars in the middle, and they had like some type of vapors coming from those pillars. That didn't look good.
So, right, the heat is releasing these gases, and those pipes used to collect those gases and sort of keep the smell to a minimum, but the pipes are now obsolete, and they need to take them out because they're not working anymore. They're unstable, and so there's some concern that as the fire makes the landfill drop, sink into the ground, that the pipes will move and allow oxygen in, and then you might see flames. So that's another concern. They don't want to, as Koster put it, daylight this fire.
Right. Now, when we say that there is a fire underneath the landfill or in the middle of the landfill, what do we mean by that?
Well, it doesn't mean fire like big flames, orange flames shooting up. It's smoldering. It's really hot, but so far there hasn't been any oxygen to it, so it hasn't been able to take off. So it's not fire.
It's not a fire in the traditional sense. It's smoking. It's cooking, more or less.
It's getting hotter, and they've recorded temperatures above 300 degrees in certain hot spots.
Right.
So it's very, very hot.
And so it's decomposing and it's growing, and if something's not done, it'll get worse.
Right. I mean, landfills are hot. It happens.
Right. That's the way it works.
But 130 degrees is sort of considered the top limit for safety. And now, at some spots, like I said, we're above 300 degrees. So it's sort of a crisis situation.
You mentioned that there's no long-term effects, or so the experts are saying. But Pattonville School District is doing what?
I think Pattonville School District had asked for this work that's going to be taking place to remove these concrete pipes. They had asked that this work be delayed. It's scheduled to start May 20th, and that's the last week of classes. Kids at the Rose Acres Elementary School are having their field day that week, and so they're going to be outside. It's kids are taking finals and just wrapping up the school year. They had asked, can we just wait until they get out of school? And Attorney General Chris Koster said, no, we can't wait.
We can't wait. Now, what happened yesterday with this Koster announcement?
So Koster sued Republic Services, the owner of the landfill. He sued them in March. So there was an injunction filed on Monday, which was not a settlement of that case, but an agreement of how Republic Services is going to sort of manage the odor and the fire.
And they agreed, and Koster agreed to a set of plans going forward.
Right. Republic came up with different scenarios, and then the Department of Natural Resources and Department of Health and Koster's office, they all sort of came together and picked what they think is the best plan going forward.
And the best plan going forward is that it's going to get worse before it gets better.
It's going to get worse before it gets better. They don't know how bad it's going to get, but they think it'll be bad enough that people who live in the immediate vicinity might want to bail out and stay somewhere else for the next month.
Right. We're going to get that in a second. But they're going to take these concrete posts out.
They're going to take the concrete posts out with the idea that then the landfill will be ready for a cap, at least on the South Quarry, which is where the heat is taking place.
Right. And we have the technology to do all this.
Apparently, yes. And Koster said that there was a similar situation at a landfill in Ohio, which was experiencing a fire. They did not have the problem of the concrete pipes, however. So this might be sort of new, but
right. And once they take the pipes out, they have to hope, as you said, oxygen doesn't get to the fire and sort of fan the flames.
Right. Yeah. They've got all these collection wells going at the same time that's supposed to be collecting these gases and keeping it from spreading to the north part, which is adjacent to the Westlake.
If you live within a mile of this landfill, what does this agreement do for you?
If you live within a mile of this landfill, then you are able to take up Republic Services on the offer to move into hotels from May 19th to June 14th. And those hotels are going to be 3 miles or further away from the landfill. And
if it's not dangerous, why are these people giving the option to move out of the neighborhood for a month?
Well, Koster says it's just strictly a function of the odor, that it's such a nuisance, that it's damaging their quality of life, if not their health. He says it's not.
Not to mention the property values.
Right.
Yeah. Is there anybody questioning the state's assumption that there's no long-term health problems?
Well, sure. I mean, environmental groups and residents are questioning it. And, everyone's trying to get these records. The air quality reports are coming out about a month after. So there's a delay on those. So people are trying to get more real-time data collected on what's going on there. There's benzene in the runoff. So the sewer district has said, hey, there's a problem here. You need to take care of this. We can't be responsible for treating this.
Right. Benzene, how bad is benzene to the human?
I mean, benzene is a known carcinogen. It's known to cause cancer. In terms of, we don't really know, what people are being exposed to and how long they've been exposed to it, or what level of exposure is really going to put you at risk.
So when does the construction start on putting a cap on this landfill?
The construction on removing the pipes starts on May 20th.
Okay, which is just a couple days from now.
Right,
yeah.
And so that's when they're thinking the smell is going to get worse. And then Koster said that the plastic cap should be in place by Labor Day.
And
so
once
people are saying this, it's pretty much going to smell up their whole summer.
And then once the cap's on, then this will be contained and we can move on. Is that the idea?
The idea is that the cap, it clamps down on the odor. It also is going to suffocate that fire.
Gotcha. And this benzene runoff will be taken care of, supposedly?
Right. That's part of the agreement, that Republic has to take care of it.
Yeah. All right. Blythe Bernhard is with us. She's the reporter covering this Bridgeton landfill, which, as you said, the fire's been going for 3 years, and this agreement between Koster and Republic announced yesterday, and you've been covering it for us. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
It was relatively painless, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Will you come in again?
Sure.
All right. So far, so good. All right. There you go. By the way, this will be up on stltoday.com. We'll send it over there so you can get a copy of this interview as well as her stories at stltoday.com as well as ktrs.com. 9:23 here on the Big 550 KTRS.